Members of the audience may address the board on agenda items only. Anybody like to address the board, please come up to the podium. Anybody? All right, and we'll move to the report of the superintendent. Dr. Davis.
If I can get there. Hold on a second. Okay. Special recognition. Evan Walker, are you here? Come on up. Yep, go to the podium, please. Evan Walker recently earned the rank of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America. He is now a member of an elite group of young men that attained this prestigious rank. The work he put forth to earn the required merit badges, coupled with his demonstration of the Scout spirit through the Boy Scout oath and law, service and leadership, are all skills and qualities that will serve him well into the future. I was telling him how elite this club is because I came that close to getting my Eagle Scout award and I quit before I got it completed. And that's why I have a special affinity in my heart for young men that can actually complete this and get it done. And so we're very proud as a Marshall Public Schools Board to give you the Certificate of Achievement and acknowledge this achievement. It says, presented to Evan Paul Walker in recognition of earning the rank of Eagle Scout. We celebrate and hereby express our sincere congratulations for the performance and dedication you have demonstrated in achieving the rank of Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America, presented by the Marshall Public Schools Board of Education on July 24, 2017. Please join me in congratulating Evan on a job well done. So what's your plans? What are you going to do?
Well, I plan on going to college next, and I want to study filmmaking and movie making. So that's probably what I'm going to do.
Very good. What was your Eagle Scout project?
I put signs on the Riverwalk in downtown Marshall from Stewart's Landing to Dark Horse.
Excellent.
There are 5 signs total, and they're all informational. So if you want to definitely go down there and look at them, that'd be very cool.
All right. Great job. Good job. Ready. Okay. Love to do that. We're actually going to honor Eagle Scout and the top Girl Scout award that can be achieved in Girl Scouting. So whenever we have candidates come up and be honored through this. All right. Next on the agenda, Kids Day. Kids Day at the Calhoun County Fair, Tuesday, August 15th. The district will be hosting a booth again this year on August 15th, Kids Day at the Calhoun County Fair. The booth will be set up in a Belcher Commerce building as in past years. We hope to partner a board member with an administrator for each time slot. The following time slots are available. We're still looking for a 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm looking for a staff member to go with 9 a.m. to 10:30. Someone to usher along with Brad Shedd. I don't know if I just leave him by himself over there. He'll do. Oh, I'm sorry, Brad, you're in the audience. And we already have noon to 1:30 handled with Rhonda Phillips and Carrie Nicholson. So if any of you would like to volunteer, that'd be great. Hi, George. How are you? Very good. That's always a fun time. We usually have a really nice display, and it's an outstanding time to just kind of educate folks as they roll through with their children. Welcome Back Breakfast, Community Breakfast, is on Monday, August 28th. It's at the Marshall High School. Breakfast is served buffet style in the cafeteria for 7:30 to 8:10. The program will begin promptly at 8:15 a.m. in the auditorium with presentations and a couple words from me before we start the year. Back to school mailer. This year's mailer will be sent to all households in the zip codes for Albion, Ceresco, Homer, Marshall, and Teconcha. expected to arrive sometime the week of August 7th. It outlines the calendar as well as important information for people to have on coming back. Youth Symposium date. Due to lack of registrations for the Youth Symposium, the event was canceled to provide opportunities centered on relationship building, group learning, and problem solving that focus on oneness and implicit bias after school starts with our sixth graders. Remember that the sixth graders participate in sixth grade camp as well, and we're expecting that this will be the first 2 weeks of school in which the classroom teacher and the students will be able to go through some exercises together over at Star Commonwealth to enhance the culture and climate of the classroom. DPPD follow-up. I was asked to just kind of give a follow-up response to how things are going. Based on the last communications we had in the board session, we immediately made available 3 hours of DPPDs in working with trauma loss and toxic stress done by Star Commonwealth, and also followed that up with 3 hours of DPPD for training by Harry Wilson in the Sanford Harmony training, which is about classroom starters in grades K through 6, and a whole system that's being provided to us free of charge, including the trainers, through the Sanford Foundation, responsible for trying to implement this initiative across the country. So we're really excited about Harry Wilson bringing that forward to us. Teachers love it. They've reviewed it. It gives them some really great activities to do with kids, and you can take it as little as a 10-minute starter every morning for class to get kids paired up and share out or buddied up for the day or even for the week. Or it can be given out during every transition when kids come back from lunch or playground. They take a regrouping opportunity to sit down and talk about what they saw right, where the strengths were, and who they want to celebrate. So it's a very positive focus on culture and climate we're implementing next year for this coming year for kindergarten through 6th grade. Along with that, we also had Catalyst University was responsible for being involved in some PDs online that were made available to teachers. We also have some trainings that were coming up for CPI training for lead teachers. We sent a number of teachers and administrators to the Global Network Learning Institute's training on trauma-informed schools. It was over in Macomb County that allowed some folks to earn upwards to, I believe, 10 sketches, which are the same thing as DPPDs. At this point, I asked the HR department, and none of our teachers are at risk of not being certified based on the earnings of the extra hours that they requested.
Okay.
And of course, we're going to continue next year with the system that we put in place with Don, our new curriculum and instruction director. Don's going to be making sure that 15 hours of DPPD are provided for purposes of recertification through the district-wide professional development we provide. Each building is responsible for getting certified through the ISD to provide 25 non-traditional sketches that allows them to use those for recertification. So we're actually going to be providing 40 instead of 30 registered hours towards certification next year. And on top of that, other things that crop up, we'll see what we can do to be aggressive in providing some awards on that. So I think we have it pretty well handled at this point, and I appreciate the feedback we received.
That's good. Thank
Well
you.
done.
That's good.
Yep.
Good to know.
All right, next on the agenda is discussion and district performance goals and objectives. Board retreat, August 2017.
Yeah, you asked if we could update our learning goals, and certainly it's past time for us to do that. The different domains we want to look at and so forth. We also want to find that as an opportunity. I talked to Bill DeSmet to be able to sit down and talk about our board governance and our roles as board members and the experiences we have in that role. Many of you have a number of months under your belt or years, and so it would be really helpful for us to have that guided dialogue. We're looking to try to schedule that in August, And I'd like to find out from you what days work best for you to be able to pull out probably at least a 4-hour, if not a 6-hour day for us to do dialogue, look at the goals and recommended objectives, have some lunch, and then break and be able to adopt those at the following meeting. Our next board session is a combined board work session in August. And I believe that is for August 21st. I'm wondering if we could have this meeting before then. Anybody
So that
have
makes
a
it sound like
suggestion?
we're having 2 meetings in August again.
Yeah, kinda.
One's a board retreat.
Once a
All
board
right,
retreat.
all right.
And it can be wherever we need it to be.
Okay.
Are we going to do it now, or are we going to try to do a
I'd like
Google
to try to
conversation?
do it now.
So we
Okay.
said it.
We still have,
So we,
Are there days that
Bill
you
and-
absolutely can't come together for this?
We're talking about what time of the day?
What time doesn't work for you, George?
We're talking about a weekday, not a weekend.
We could do a weekend if that works too.
I mean, generally, Wednesday afternoons are my best day,
Your best day.
my most flexible day at this point.
Carrie, what do you think? Wednesday
I could do
afternoon could work?
Wednesday afternoon.
Huh?
I could do Wednesday afternoon.
Lisa?
I'm pretty flexible, so.
I could probably make that work. I just would need to check the calendar.
Okay,
That's probably the most flexible day for me as well.
that's great. And what do you think, Richard?
the 9th in the afternoon, I can do it.
I cannot do the 9th.
Yeah, and actually, that's the only time
Should I guess?
that Wednesday afternoon I cannot.
How's the 16th look?
I could do the 16th.
I can miss something on the 16th. 16th would work.
Why don't we set it for the 16th? I'll send that out as a confirmation. We can start 1 o'clock.
So we're thinking lunch at noon and then 1 o'clock.
I'm thinking 1 o'clock, go through until 4:30 or 5 and get some refreshments and wrap it up.
Okay.
That's
That's good.
probably a
That would
good,
be- yep.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
But we're going to need to get a hold of the folks.
Pardon me?
It's going to be
it's going to be Bill.
Bill
And
somebody. in
and
finance.
whoever is here.
Bill and whoever.
Whoever gets selected, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're going to do August 16th.
I'll get the information out to you. We'll set some information for you to read before we get there, that type of stuff. Okay?
Okay.
We'll do it. You send out the invitation tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Just- Oh, it's Fair Week.
Is that Fair Week?
He usually does take that whole week off, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's missing this one. We'll encourage him on this one.
I'll let you talk to him.
Okay.
Otherwise, he might be appointed to another
Right.
responsibility.
Right, exactly.
I'll talk to Bill. I'll get
Okay.
it all
Just
squared.
saying.
Yeah.
And if we need to redo it, I mean.
Okay.
Okay. Good start. Okay. That's it for that discussion.
All right, do you want to introduce the vacancy, or do you want me to talk about it?
I do.
Okay.
We have 5 interested folks in being selected for the board seat vacancy. In the background, we know that the board seat vacancy goes until, when in 2018? Right. And so in that election also, in 2018, whoever gets selected has to decide if they're going to run for that position, if they want to renew. Okay? You have a copy of their vita, their background and information, as well as their statement of interest that was put in a file for all of you to read. I hope you read those and got familiar with the candidates. In no particular order, I'm just going to call, well, actually in alphabetical order, I'm going to call people up to step to the podium and make a statement. You have 5 minutes to say what you need to say about your background or your interest in becoming a board member for Marshall Public Schools. Are you ready for this? And then we're going to listen to that, we're going to think about that, and then we're going to come back to action later on.
So we're not going to vote until the action item later, right?
Right?
Okay.
You can start taking your notes if you'd like to on your ballot. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to invite Bradley Donahue up. Bradley? Yep.
Good evening. My name is Bradley Donahue. Thank you, Mr. Vice President and trustees and Dr. Davis. I appreciate this opportunity to stand before you and talk to you about why I feel like I should be part of your team. I've been involved in education for a long time. I'm not going to go into great detail on the information I had sent to you. I'm hoping that you had an opportunity to read those during your board packet. So I have had a life of public service, never been in elected office before. I don't intend to go on to become some elected high official, getting press and staff, et cetera. I really am focused here at the education level. I believe that the education of our public education of our community students, our children, is probably the most important and well-deserved gift that we can give our children. I believe that we have an obligation and responsibility to provide a public, free education to our children. And I want to emphasize that again. I believe it's a public education. While other opportunities are important and are adequate, I think as a community, we need to focus our attention on providing those resources to those kids who choose to use the public education system. My education background, while I don't have an education degree, I've been involved considerably throughout the years in education, and I will skip my political background and but I have worked with the legislature for 10 years in that position. I was the chief of staff and was very involved in the education programming, decision-making, the funding, the logistics, the politics, meeting with the different stakeholders from superintendent associations to school board associations to union representatives, community, et cetera. So I've been around the process and understand the job you guys do every day, and sometimes I think people forget that it sometimes can be thankless but rewarding because you are making a difference. In the last 10 years or so, I had the opportunity to leave public service and actually be out on my own and various different degrees of consulting work. And during that time, my first real experience doing something really interesting and exciting in education was working with this foundation called the M.A. Rooney Foundation. We spent 2 years working with then the Superintendent of Public Instruction of Indiana, trying to build a growth model. This was back in 2008. At that time, we were listening to and hearing stories about how great Colorado's growth model was. It was the best growth model. If we just follow that suit, we'll be doing well. And over the course of the next 2 years, I worked with shareholders both on the public side as well as the legislative side, diligently trying to come up with a growth model to please all sides. And of course, you're never going to please all sides, but we did make progress. And never, unfortunately, after those 2 years, did the legislature ever actually pass a growth model that they all agreed upon. However, they did, you take that learning experience and take that understanding of growth, the importance of growth, and build it into the education programs and the assessments of students, et cetera. And following that, I have been really, in that same organization, I was able to work with the founder of that organization and focus heavily on data-based education solutions and teaching and using data to make a difference. And in fact, I'm proud to say that the one school that I helped a lot work with and get that foundation in there, who then went on to use database instruction, became the #1, last year was the #1 performing school in the state of Indiana. And it was based on many criteria. It was based on students and teachers working together, good solid leadership, community involvement, but every single day part of that process was using the data. And I can say I went to a celebration. My sister happens to also be the former president of that school board and still on the school board there. So I went to that, and the superintendent gave that foundation strong credibility and thanks for its work on helping drive student achievement through data. And then since that time, I've had various clients, but I also have represented public school educators in Indiana on the fight against, obviously, Indiana has a very strong charter school program, a strong voucher program, which public school administrators as well as teachers believe is pulling several dollars and needed dollars out of the public school system. And I've been working directly with the chairman of the House Education Committee on developing a new student assessment program, the old ISTEP program, which was the MEP score test that Michigan uses. We've been working on that for the last year and a half and really getting a better understanding and trying to also help them change their assessments to include more growth and less responsibility simply on proficiency, because there are a lot of the inner city schools who obviously aren't making those achievements at this point, and therefore in turn I'm working with them, helping them fight against state control takeovers, closing of schools, etc. So what I'm saying to you is saying all this in a very quick situation is I'm not an expert in necessarily any field, but I believe that I've been working for the last 10 to 15 years in education. I believe it's the importance of our community. I think that Marshall is unique with the fact that they just have combined two schools. They've seen how the impact can be on a community and how important it is for this board to make sure that there's trust and honor and solidify the need of this community to know that they have a strong public school and that we're going to stay there, we're going to be there, and it also helps, as you all know, it helps the business owners and the managers and the homeowners and know their property values are going to be saved, et cetera. And I just feel like I have some unique opportunities that I could help bring to you to the discussion while still being an equal player and not trying to overrun or take over what Dr. Davis has done, but be a team player. And I'd like to share my experiences and be part of that team. So I hope you give me some consideration. You have any questions?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Alec Egnatuk.
Good evening, Board. My name is Alec Egnatuk, and I'm a lifelong resident of Marshall and a graduate of Marshall High School. After graduating from college, my wife and I decided to come home to start our family. In addition to having our families in town, the next major factor in returning to Marshall was the school district. We planned on having a family, and we wanted to live in a district that was well known. Our school district has always had a fine reputation for providing an excellent education. Over the years since returning, I've tried to become involved in the community through different volunteering efforts, but it was usually restricted to activities in which my children were involved. I've coached youth sports, soccer, and softball. I'm a current member of the Marshall Soccer Club Board, and I've been involved with our church, and I've also chaperoned many school field trips, including 3 to Mackinac Island. But again, it was all for my family. I recently joined the Marshall Township Planning Commission, and I started to feel a call for community service, and that was an opportunity that was presented to me that I took on. And now when this opportunity opened, I felt like it was a chance to be part of something bigger than my family and my neighborhood and even the city of Marshall. I think I can offer a fresh perspective to the board. As an employee of the city of Marshall, I have an intimate understanding of board staff dynamic, working for the city council and interactions that we have, and I also can appreciate the working within the confines of public funding, a very limited amount of money that we have to work with, and the task that we have before us is great. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you to continue to guide Marshall Public Schools into the future. And I just wanted to close by saying there's no greater purpose in life than to help others. And being a member of the school board gives me the ability to help those with the greatest need, our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Michelle Johnson.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for inviting me. you'll probably notice public speaking is not really my forte. I'm usually behind spreadsheets. But about a year and a half ago, my husband and I chose Marshall as our, what I'll say, our forever home. He spent 20 years serving active duty military. And in that 20 years of service, we've moved about 8 times. So I attended public school, my husband attended public school in the city of Houston. My children attend public school. My daughter completed 6th grade at Marshall Middle School this year. That was her 5th elementary school. My son completed 3rd grade this year at Hughes Elementary School. That was his 3rd school in 3rd grade. I have a progressive career through finance. I have a master's degree in finance. So like I said, behind spreadsheets quite a bit. I work as finance director for Calhoun County, and I'm familiar with the board and community dynamics. Really what I think brought me here is the sense of service. I, over 20 years, have served the military community by helping with parents with their children, by helping budget perspectives, household budgets. I've helped military spouses watch their children. And so what brought us to Marshall was the small town rural environment and the public school system. We knew our children were going to get a good education here. We knew that the people respect, responsibility. They have a sense of service and a sense of self. And I want to contribute to that. So the bottom line is just to continue to push forward the agenda of this board and be a team player and continue to enrich the lives of our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Weddle.
Good evening, Dr. Davis, board members, those in attendance. I'm Steve Weddle, and I'm here tonight seeking appointment to the Marshall Public School Board of Education. As the preceding individual said, to contribute to our school system. From watching my youngest daughter progress through Marshall High School, I've recognized and I've benefited from the excellence of the school system. Though our school system has faced a lot of challenges, and I think we're going to face a lot more challenges in the future from various directions. I think that I would know I want to become part of trying to help meet these challenges, overcome them, whatever term you want to do, whatever term you want to use. But they're going to be meeting us, and I want to be part of that. I feel a commitment to education. My wife and I and all our daughters are products of public education, actually through the graduate level from state universities. I'm a strong supporter of public schools. I believe in it. I'm a product of it. My experience included being a Social Security Administration manager at the local, state, international level. This included hiring and, yes, firing, local and state international negotiations with unions, government agencies at both state and federal levels, and I've negotiated with foreign government agencies. As for budgets, I prepared, proposed, allocated, and used budgets at the local, state, and international level for the Social Security Administration. Because it's a federal job that I had, we had budgets that went up and down at the, they were political budgets sometimes, given to us. Some years they were bountiful, other years pretty lean. No hiring for years, no promotions, no nothing. And yet we worked through them. I maintained a well-ordered goal-meeting office, and we met our goals, and we kept our staff in line, so to speak, but happy. And that's through good communication, feedback, honesty, and equal treatment. Living in the foreign countries, I have gained appreciation for diverse cultures, diverse individuals in a variety of settings. And I'm really happy, I'm thrilled to see we have 5 candidates tonight. 5 quality candidates for the board to pick. And I congratulate folks for applying. I think that's great for us to ensure the future, the quality of our school boards in the future and keep our quality schools. Thank you much. Good night.
And Larry Williams, please.
Good evening. My name is Larry Williams. I am a lifelong resident of the city of Albion. I currently serve in the position as the recreation director for the city of Albion. My interest in being on the board is kind of twofold. Firstly, I think that Albion, now being a part of the Marshall School District, has an opportunity to give our youngsters opportunity that they probably haven't had in quite some time. Being on the Board of Education will allow me to be part of, as you said, the solution rather than a part of the problem. I think being involved will allow me, secondly, to continue to do the types of things that I'm doing with the Recreation Department currently, in conjunction with the Marshall Public Schools and the City of Albion. But more importantly, I think my goal is to serve the children of the school district. The school district has expanded. There are a lot of needs. There are a lot of innuendos. There's a lot of gossip. I think by being on the board, I could be a voice that helps brokers some of the animosity between the school communities that still exists. So therefore, I think I would be a good fit. I have experience working on the board. I have served a 4-year term on the Albion School Board. But because of, at the time, I was also coaching in the Battle Creek schools, and that became a conflict. I have worked in public education. I'm going to date myself. I've worked in public education in one form or fashion probably for the last 40 years. I've worked as a parapro. I've worked in in-school suspension and detention. I've set up programs for those programs. I've also worked as a coach for approximately 40 years. Finally gave that up. It was time to let young blood get in. But I'm very interested in children and the future of our children, and that includes all children. I have a very, very fond relationship with Marshall, and it goes way back, but over time, I was Marshall's biggest rival. When I was in high school, it was a rivalry. But over the time, I've had the opportunity to work with other coaches. Some of the most supportive people that I ran into in the coaching field were actually coaches from Marshall. So it gave me a different perspective, and that perspective is constantly changing. I've had the opportunity to work with Superintendent Davis on some projects, and I've seen children from Albion succeed in a caring, school district, whereas before they were kind of marked as being failures. So I know what a caring community, a caring school district can do for children. And again, that's my passion. My passion is children and making sure that they get the best opportunity that they can get in life to succeed. I think Marshall offers our children that opportunity, and I'd love to be a part of that. That's me. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so board, if you would mark your priority sheet when we get to the action item, I'll tally those up and make the announcement within the reading of the motion.
It's
Or
gonna
reading
be
the
tough.
background. I know.
So we're going to
This is,
rank 1 to 5 and then pass them down to you.
Yep.
You're going to fill this out.
Yep, and give
Okay.
it back to you for reading. I want to take this opportunity and parrot the same thing that was said from one of our candidates. It's amazing to have 5 highly qualified, community-invested members coming forward and asking to be considered for this one position. I know as things come available, I beg you to consider to keep your candidacy open and continue to follow what's going on with our school district and with our board. One person will be selected at the end of this, at the next action item, and when that happens, you'll be asked to come and take your seat at the table and finish out the board session. Hope you guys are prepared for that. And for those that don't get selected this time, I just want to say thank you, and we look forward to engaging with you in the future about some possibilities. Okay? All right, next item.
All right, demolition of facility and property known as Caldwell School.
Yep. As we did the annexation and we did the walkthrough of the facilities, the Albion School District at the time of annexation had 2 buildings in operation. They had this high school complex, and they also had Kroll Elementary. Caldwell Elementary had been the longest mothballed building that they still possessed as an asset, and Harrington was, within the last 3 years of annexation, mothballed for non-use. In the process of coming back and looking at needs, we elected to restart Harrington Elementary with some infusion of investment dollars in the physical plant and bring that up to speed. Now we have 3 buildings in operation in the Albion community as opposed to 2 at the time of annexation. We never considered Caldwell as one of those that we could bring back to any luster or use. Caldwell building had been closed for a long time. There had been a lot of deterioration both on the side walls and windows, as well as vandalism, as well as deterioration of the roof, and creating quite a disaster inside the building. We were able to go in and covet different things for the use of and reuse in the district. One of those main items was the boiler system. That boiler system that was at Caldwell was rarely used and turned on. I think that was actually replaced just before they mothballed it. So we were able to bring that boiler system out and reconstitute it at Harrington Elementary with our own staff and support of a contractor, but our own staff primarily doing the heavy lifting, the heavy work. Also, Caldwell served us in allowing us to covet different pieces that could be replicated in the other buildings at Kroll and Harrington. And there are still maybe a few items left in there, but pretty much anything useful has already been taken out. So we went out and we put bids out. Bids have been presented. We have the winning bid that we're recommending. You have a handout from Becky Jones. I'm sorry Becky had to call in sick from attending tonight, so I'm going to try to pick this up and go. The general scope of this project is to raise the entire 30,000 of single-story building Previous use was an elementary school, single-story masonry construction. Remove 18,000 feet of asphalt parking lot to the north, as well as miscellaneous sidewalks to the building. Leave a perimeter sidewalk and cul-de-sac to the south. If you've gone over there, there's actually a cul-de-sac that goes to the south of the building, but it also probably serves the neighborhood in a way that we don't want to remove that cul-de-sac. Construction, there's abatement removal, there's demolition cost, there's utility disconnect, there's topsoil and hydro seeding to replace the whole foundation in which we remove the building. Much like we did with Sherman Elementary, we're going to bring that back to green space. At which point, after we get completed with that project, we can then have a discussion at the board and with the community on how that green space can best be used. I can tell you that Brad Shedd was at a community feedback session that was really a cool idea with Albion, the city of Albion, held over at the fire station, and we asked for feedback, and Brad took some copious notes on the feedback that people had, which are good ideas for us to dialogue with, and even dialogue with the city council and see what people's preference would be in the use of that space. It could also include actually marketing that space for additional housing slots. So the options are pretty well open. That building is not being used at all under our authority, and so we're bringing that forward. There is a subtotal, and then there's contingency costs that are built into this, which may or may not be used, CSM staffing reimbursables for what's been done up to this point, and a construction management fee. The total cost of the original budget was $434,316. The current cost with a Delta original versus final is $425,036. It's recommended awarded subcontract to Salenbian Trucking and Excavating based out of Dundee, Michigan. Salenbian will be subcontracting the abatement with BBEK Environmental based out of Warren, Michigan, and we're ready to move forward with the recommendation on the board.
There's not any other options for use of this building at this time. We've taken a look at that. You said this, so I'm just emphasizing, but there's not any other feasible use for this property at this point.
Absolute of the building?
The building,
Absolutely.
not the
Yeah,
not the ground.
absolutely not.
Okay.
In
So
fact, I'm not allowing people to go in there without masks on.
I drove by there just to check, and I agree with you, so I just want to say that again for the audience. It seems like when we demolished Sherman, we gave people a chance to go through and take some stuff, and I've had some requests on Facebook for that. Is that a possibility at all?
I think the liability inside the building is too high. Now, we've had the Legacy Historical Committee here that's gone through and taken everything, or asked for things and pointed out what things that they would like removed. And that's now housed in the wing down here on the west side of the building that we've allowed them to have space and operational out of. If there's anything else in there, we'll take another walkthrough before we do that, but I think the liability of having people walk through is probably too high.
There was one specific thing, and I gave the information to Becky, so I'll let her.
I think that's outside the building,
Okay,
actually.
okay.
So anything outside the building, Becky's going to review before we go to full demolition, like a plaque for an honor, memorable
that was what it was, yeah.
memorial for someone or recognition for someone on a tree base or something. But there really is nothing left of historical significance, according to the committee that went through and all the work that we've already done in that building.
And that's a committee of former, or I guess Albion Public School related. It's an Albion committee.
Yes, Vivian Davis, a couple of historians from Albion College even participated, and a number of other folks that have been on that committee have done a good job with that.
Okay. So I had the question about bricks. I'm guessing we're not going to sell bricks. Can we set a pile aside if people want to?
Yeah, we're not going to sell bricks.
Okay.
What we'll tell the demolition is when they if they can separate out some usable bricks and put them in a pile, we'll allow people to come by. We'll announce when the date is, when the demolition will occur. People will have to stay off, of course, out of the caution tape. And when that's all completed, we'll try to make an access point where people can come by and pick up bricks,
Okay.
just like we did at Sherman.
Okay. Those were questions I saw on Facebook, so I just wanted to relay those.
All right, good.
And the 22G money is applicable to this
Yes,
entirely, to the whole thing.
yes. And that was quite a negotiation with Treasury, but it is part of the parcel.
Richard, I'm just having trouble hearing you with all the noise. If you can speak
Okay,
up.
did you get all of that at what
I
Randy
think
said?
I did.
Okay, all right, I'll try to be louder. If we sell the property, this is also falls under the new statute that deals with, we can place the money in trust for.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
There is a new statute that allows us to, if we sell any properties, a school is able to put that into an endowed trust or an endowed fund for the use of support of operational dollars towards the school system. But they have to put that in an endowed fund in a community foundation. And so we've been advised by Shannon Tierman from the Marshall Community Foundation that indeed exists for any municipality, organization, government, branch, or public school. So if we can get value out of that property in some way or fashion, that can go into an endowed fund for operations.
Potentially could go half and half to the two community foundations and the two communities, if you thought about that. I won't hold you anything right now. You don't have to
Either way,
answer.
it's going to go to the...
Someplace it'll benefit the
yeah,
schools.
Yeah,
so,
the
okay.
profits will come back to supporting the school system
Okay.
operation.
Sorry to put you in that.
Yeah, thank you for that.
All right, any other questions about that?
No, that's good.
All right, well, I think it's a good plan. All right, next on the agenda is the consent agenda, and we have A through D. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will move.
Support.
The motion and support. Anything you want to cover, Dr. Davis? Looks pretty straightforward.
Just acknowledging outside the minutes, there's the Marley Cooperative Agreement that we have every year. This is for the 16-17, including the board packet. That's going to be for our 17-18 school year. Also, the Michigan Association of School Boards offers several opportunities throughout the year for school board members to attend training sessions. Authorization is being sought to allow board members who may choose to attend workshops do so during the 17-18 school year. And finally, the MASA Fall Conference is coming up. There's also an MASB conference that I'm being asked to present at, but that's only for a couple hours. I drive up, present, and come back. But the fall conference is actually my fall conference when I'm gone for 3 nights.
All right, any questions from anybody? All right, we have a motion and second. Start with, who's on the end? Lisa?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. The next item is action item, board business filling school board vacancy. I think we've all voted.
All right, allow me to tally. Do a song and dance or something while I'm doing this.
Go ahead, Emmanuel. George.
George has a great voice.
Do you want to talk about what he does?
It's been a while, Richard. It's been a while.
I would just like to echo the fact that we had outstanding candidates. And I, for one, my term is up.
I was going to say.
A
we're
year
gonna have an
from
election in
December.
A year, so.
Yes,
yeah.
and not only is my term up, but George's term is up. And who else is, we have one more, don't we? Don't we have 3?
I think that'll be, because we're filling the one. So there's
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
altogether.
So the
hers would have
3.
been, hers would have been good for
Yes.
another 4 years,
So-
but that'll be so that, you know.
So if you're not selected, I hope that you'll come back.
Yeah, so I would agree.
That was good delay.
I don't have any jokes. So,
That's okay, I'm ready to do it now.
okay.
Shall I read the background?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. At the May 22nd, 2017 Board Business Session, Trustee McComb announced her resignation from the Board of Education effective June 26, 2017. An advertisement was published in the June 3, 2017 release of the Advisor Chronicle and the June 4, 2017 release of the Morning Star related to the school board vacancy. 5 individuals responded indicating their desire to be considered. The board has now reviewed responses from the interested individuals and heard them address the board. Mr. Larry Williams is being recommended for appointment to fill the school board vacancy. The term of office will commence immediately and conclude December 13th, 2018. It is recommended that of the superintendent that action item board business be approved as presented.
All right, so the recommendation is that we appoint Larry Williams to fill the empty seat. Entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or any discussion? All right, start with Lisa.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, we have a new school board member.
Congratulations, Larry, and thank you so much for the other candidates for
Yes, thank
stepping
you all.
forward. Appreciate it.
Hi. Do you hereby accept the office of member of the Board of Education of Marshall Public Schools? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you'll support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and you'll faithfully discharge the duties of office of member of the Board of Education of Marshall Public Schools according to the best of your ability?
I will.
Okay. I need you to sign here and here, please. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Would you hold on a second?
Yeah, I've got extra.
Do you have extra?
You got extras?
This doesn't have that.
Kim will do it.
Item on it. She got it.
Okay. She's got it.
Mr. Williams, we waste no time.
All right, here we go.
At this point here.
So I have to comment, there was this 30 short years ago that I was playing basketball over there, and he was coaching, so time does fly.
You need to comment very loud so people can.
I don't think you heard me, did
Oh,
you?
doing
I did.
business.
I said it was just 30 short years ago, I was playing basketball and you were coaching, so.
And that's your third one. So there you go.
That makes you like 39, right?
A little over.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, are we set to go?
Yep.
All right, next on the agenda is action item financial award fuel bid for the 2017-2018 school year. Entertain a motion to approve the bid as presented.
I will move.
Support.
I have a motion and support, and Dr.
Back now.
Davis. Yep.
The Transportation Director advertised for the receipt of the fuel bids for the 2017-18 school year. Bids were due at 10 a.m., July 20, 2017. One bid was received. A review and analysis of the bids was conducted by the Transportation Director. Based on his analysis and the consideration of all factors involved, Folk Oil will continue to serve the best interests of the district. It is a recommendation of the superintendent that action item financial be approved as presented.
All right, we have a motion and support. Any discussion? All right, who did I go? Call on Lisa twice. Okay,
Yes.
Carrie, sorry about that. I can't see
You should
anybody.
make Larry go.
Do you want to have Larry go first? All right, we'll start with Carrie.
Yes.
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 All right, motion carries. Next is action item financial, award the bid for demolition of facility and property known as Caldwell School. Entertain a motion to approve the bid as presented.
So moved.
Second.
The motion support. Anything you would like to add?
I've already read the background. I just want to say it's the recommendation of the superintendent that action item other financial be approved as presented.
All right, motion support. Any discussion? All right, start with George.
Yes.
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 All right, motion carries. And when was the timeline on that? Did you say it's going to be in August? Before school starts?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually going to start, here in a week or so.
Okay. All right. We gotta go on to
Revision?
So,
There we go.
yeah, so item 10 is action item financial award bid for repairing, recoding, and striping all paved surfaces at all district buildings located in Marshall. Entertain a motion to approve the bid as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Okay. I think, did Carrie do that first or did that? Second by Carrie.
Here we go.
The Carrie.
All right, Dr.
Can't hear
Davis.
anything.
So
Yeah,
background?
It's very
I can't
difficult to
because of
hear
that,
up here,
yeah.
sorry.
Can't see anybody.
All right. Background, if you've gone around our facilities, you'll recognize that we've got an infestation of weeds and grass growing up through cracks in the asphalt in our parking lots. Also is the case for our sidewalks, but we're leaving that up to our grounds folks and the process that they usually go through around this time or the beginning of August to kill the weeds between the sidewalks, cut those out and kill them. But for the grass and the edges and the parking lots, we went back and had a proposal and bids given to us to do all parking lots and roads within our district relative to our properties. We are going to be trimming grass edges and cleaning driveways or parking lots for seal coating. We're going to fill cracks with hot rubber, approximately 2,950 feet, and then a lot more in other locations. We're going to apply one heavy-duty coat of asphalt or top sealing for the parking lots before the beginning of the school year, and make any hot mixed asphalt repair if needed across the board. We're going to do that fairly quickly. The contractor is ready to operate, and we're ready to roll with that. And the amount of it is, you guys have that total? $77,470 to complete. The board will now consider this bid for repairs, recoating, striping, and all paved surfaces at the district. I want you to know that all of these repairs we're talking about and the top seal, coating, et cetera, are covered under our sinking fund.
Okay.
And our sinking fund has adequate money to cover this.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, we'll start with Annette.
Yes.
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 All right, motion carries. And item 11 is other financial award contract to compliance one for school safety compliance and flip charts. This is the additional item we were provided here. So I'd entertain, I'd entertain a motion to approve the award as presented.
I'll support. Oh, I thought you said you made a motion.
No.
Okay.
I'd entertain a motion.
You would entertain. Oh,
So that's,
This is the.
right here, yeah.
this is the- the safety
Sorry, this
one.
was the one we added at the.
right.
Yep.
All right, so Annette made a motion, have a second?
Support.
All right, Lisa second.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Davis.
Background. Last year, we worked closely with the Marshall City Police Department to revamp and upgrade our safety response manual and also our safety response training. Our staff had active shooter training. Sadly enough, that's a requirement now for us to go through that process. And in that different approach or philosophy, it includes, instead of slipping the old flip chart under that says green or red or yellow under the door, we've found that kind of communication, as nebulous as it is to first responders, also gives heads up by the bad guys that something that everybody's relaxed or they're taken care of in that particular classroom. And without being able to not only lock the door, but also to barricade the door, it makes it less than a safe environment for kids. So in the training, we've changed a lot of that. You've probably seen in the press about Harper Creek getting some press on doing this. Well, we've been investigating this for a while. We've been looking at a couple different providers of this. There's a door boot that is out there. There's also a series of different clamps that go on doors that we looked into. We found out that the door clamps were actually not up to code according to the fire department, because first responder fire departments don't have a key to be able to get access to a classroom once the barricades are put up. So that we had to go away from that. We went to Night Lock, and Night Lock has a foot post that goes into a attached receptacle area, locks down that door and keeps it from being broken into. The whole desire is not to keep a bad guy completely out. It's to slow them down for at least a minute or a minute and a half. If an intruder or a shooter comes in and makes it into the building in a timely way, they're going to want to get their first response as quick as they can. If they get deterred by as much as a minute, they know that they're going to have to move on if they're planning on doing something or trying to do something. The bottom line is it gives a minute to a minute and a half for first responders to get there. And that's within the scope of what we're expecting in regards to police response. So we're happy about this procedure. We got a really great deal on installation. It's going to be done outside of our maintenance department, who's a bit overwhelmed with what we're dealing with right now, getting ready for the school. We want to have this done before the teachers show up on the 28th of August. We plan on having a lunch and learn by these guys in Compliance 1. There's going to be a flip chart, a brand new flip chart provided to all of our teachers, all of our professional support staff. There's also going to be a safety manual that will be provided to all of our secretaries and all of our administrators. It's going to be online and accessible by first responders, so electronically they can have access. They'll know all the layouts of this. The public won't know because we're not going to publicize where the muster areas are and different things like that because we want to maintain safety. But the first responders know, our administrators know. It's going to be shared out, disseminated on the 28th of August, and then those locks will be in place so teachers can go back to their classrooms or our professional staff or support staff to their offices and see that that's in place for them. And it's very important for us to move forward on this. We have the opportunity to have them install that beginning this Friday and through the weekend. I apologize for giving you this information in such a short notice. You all know that I've been working on this for a year. This is the best way for us to solidify what MacDonald has done for us over at the Marshall Police Department. And in fact, they're very pleased. That's why the cost for their consulting services went down considerably, because of all the hard work that MAC, the city, and our administrators have already done to date. So we're real excited about this and making this come forward. I'm asking for your indulgence for the timeline.
Just one time.
So this is endorsed by the Public Safety Department?
Yes.
I mean, is there any board or certifying agency for all the different methods? I mean, there's nothing that certifies you have this, and this choice. It's pretty much up to us to decide whatever we want.
That in the field. The field has evolved from where it used to be, which was if there's an identified risk or shooter in the building, you lock your door, you turn your lights off, and you pull yourselves in a corner of the classroom that's not accessible. The problem with that theory is if a shooter can shoot through the door and break through the door, which we've seen time and time again in tragic examples, they're just now in the classroom, controlled by no access. So the idea is to put the barriers in place, barricade the doors, make it very difficult to break through, hopefully deter them long enough for first responders to show up. And if they do get any kind of type of access, actually, we're encouraging the teachers and the students to do everything they can to create obstacles for any kind of intruder in doing harm. So the field has evolved to a different perspective on this, and this is a key part of that.
Was Steve Hinckley's Sheriff's Department, Steve Hinckley?
Steve Hinckley is
Same guy.
involved
Okay.
in Compliance 1. He's a co-partner
Okay.
with Joe Humphreys. Joe Humphreys is a retired state police officer and with years and years of experience. So both of them are our primary consultants. That Compliance 1 is also associated with CSM, our construction firm.
Okay. We had a lockdown hospital last year. No one better
Yes.
to have show up as Steve on the job, so.
Yes, you did.
Any questions, discussion? We have a motion and a second. All right, start with me. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so
motion
much.
carries.
That's great. Thank you.
All right, so we're done, right? 11?
Mhm.
Next, we have public comment. Anybody that'd like to make any public comment, please come forward. You have 3 minutes to address the board. Anybody tall? All right. Next, we have board member comments for which no action may be taken at this meeting. Anybody have any comments? Just a question I had. Can you update us on where you're at the hiring process for Harrington Elementary principal?
Well, that's kind of not fair to do.
Okay. Is that okay?
We have just finished our second posting. We had some strong candidates come through. Out of the 27 that responded the first time, we had 5 that we interviewed. We went through the process of first and second level interviews. We decided, because there was one candidate that withdrew, that was a strong candidate, another candidate that stayed in the mix, but we wanted to make sure that we're looking at other candidates as well. We posted a second time while I was on vacation. I authorized that. I did a little work while I was on vacay. Cost me a lot of money on Verizon cell phones from across the pond. We got 20 respondents. 4 of those were direct interest candidates that were referred to us and advocated for. I'm in my first round of interviews. I did 3 today. I'm doing 4 tomorrow. 7 candidates have been invited to interview. On Wednesday, we'll do a committee interview of the candidates I move forward from my process. And then after that, we'll identify 2 to 3 candidates that will come to a public forum. Our hope is the public forum will take place, and I have to get busy on this between interviews tomorrow, that it'll take place at the Ludington Center, if I can arrange it for this coming Friday. We're going to invite key people within the community, those that have been good advocates and partners with us, and those that have been questioning and still have questions about the annexation and what needs to transpire for the future. We're also going to have teachers involved. Teachers are going to be involved in the group or the committee interview on Wednesday, but we're also asking teachers to come to that forum, other fellow administrators to that forum. Dan Stolberg volunteered to come to that forum as a past board member because we really don't want board members to sit in that forum and be a part of that process by influencing that decision process until we come to recommendation. But then we're going to ask the members of that forum to let us know who they think is best fit out of those candidates. It's not an election process for selection. It's only to inform my decision-making process. I hope to be making an offer by Saturday or Sunday for this candidate to come forward and take the post as principal of Harrington.
So will there be parents involved?
Yes,
in it as
parents.
well as part of the
Parents,
forum?
thank you. Parents of children that go. And I'm going to ask a couple of our legacy scholars at Albion College who have graduated Marshall schools and reside in the Albion community to also participate, plus maybe a Vista worker or 2.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
That's-
How are you choosing the parents? And
I'm going to go back to the teachers and ask them who they think, and probably ask Mike Culliver as well because he's been running the summer school program.
So this is not a public invited people?
No, I really don't want to make it
Okay.
to the, we're going to have probably about 20 people, and when we did this with the high school, I think we had 22 people, and that's pretty much what we want. We want a facilitator from my office that will be running that. It won't be me.
Okay.
The candidates will come in that forum first to go in, do a walkthrough with me at Harrington Elementary, so they see the building, and then they're going to come over and be introduced to the group. And while they're doing their interview and refreshments are being served and there's a meet and greet, I'm going to take the next candidate over to take a walkthrough in Harrington, and we'll just go through that until we complete that process.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Carrie?
is there going to be a time, maybe in the week or 2 afterwards, just for the community to come who are interested to meet the?
Oh, absolutely. And I hope they're hired and fully working at the time that we do that. So it'll be the following week, probably. We've expanded this role, this elementary position, in the number of weeks that we normally contract with an elementary principal. We've expanded it from 48 to 52 because we know this takes a lot more work to restart an elementary and to connect with the community the way the administrator needs to. So we're expanding the time that they're going to be on the clock for us.
Mary Douglas asked me to mention that there is a summer celebration of learning at Harrington School this Thursday on July 27th from 11:30 to 12:30. On the last day of summer school, students are going to share projects, iMovies, display boards, and other achievements. And she said they're really, really excited about having the public come and visit. So please stop by if you can. Board members, please stop by if you get an opportunity. Any other comments from anybody? What's that?
Good.
All right. Meeting's adjourned.